up, everybody? This is John with Archer Film. Thanks for watching, subscribing, commenting, all that good stuff. Sorry, it's been a while since I posted. Just haven't really had much to say. I waited a long time to watch this movie, too. Didn't want to watch it opening weekend because the crowds. I don't like to deal with crowds at the movies, and the worst thing possible would have been them singing along to this. But I finally saw Wicked, and this is what I thought. Let me start off by saying I love musical theater. I'm not a musical theater kid, but I have done some theater, and I even did a ballet once. And I've seen most of the ones that I've wanted to see, mostly at the Pantages in LA, a few other places there. But I've seen Phantom of the Opera, Jesus Christ Superstar, Book of Mormon, Cats, all the big ones that I really wanted. I almost saw Hamilton, but COVID shut it down right at the beginning. That really bummed me out, but I did see Hamilton on the Disney recorded version of it, which to me, Hamilton could be the best theater show ever made, best musical ever made. But my favorite is Wicked. I've seen it twice, both at the Pantages. It blew me away. I was listening to the soundtrack before I even saw the theater play, because when it hit in the early 2000s, it was so good. And I had no idea what to expect going in to see the theater production of it. And I was absolutely floored. I loved the stage production. I loved the themes, the humor, and of course the amazing, showstopper song is one of the best ever made. And I wondered how all of this would translate to the movie version. Not to mention all the annoying, interview drama and poster drama and all of that stuff surrounding the movie. But I ignored all of that, and, I wanted to sort of see what the movie was going to be, because, again, it is my favorite musical. So I went into wanting to love it, but fearing that I would hate it. And I go into every movie almost like that. I never go into a movie hating it right off the bat. I want to love it and fear that I'll hate it. It just, the movie starts like the theater production just after the events of Wizard of Oz. The Wicked Witch is dead and everyone is celebrating. And this is where it gets interesting. And there are going to be a couple spoilers, but I'm not going to get too heavy into the plot. So Glenda the Good Witch arrives to Munchkin Land. She tells the story of the Wicked Witch, and she's asked if she was always wicked. And it takes us to the Wicked Witch being born green after her mother had an affair while drinking some strange green booze. And just like the play, the theme of the Green Child is about being different and being unloved. It's not really about race or identity. It's more about character and what it feels like when you're sort of shunned and unloved, starting with your parents and the guilt that you feel. And I think that's very powerful and relatable to a lot of people. This child also has unique powers. She can move stuff with her mind when she's angry. Now, I'm not going to go over the whole plot, like I said, but, she does have a crippled sister, and she takes her sister to school. They meet Galinda, who is very ambitious, very arrogant, kind of funny, and very sweet, played by Ariana Grande. And she sees the Green Witch, known as Elphaba, as a little project, because she sees how she's treated and she's so different and all this stuff. And maybe even at first she hates all the attention that Elphaba gets, even if it's bad attention. And what I loved was they hate each other at first. They loathe each other. There's a great song about how much they hate each other, and I think that's brilliant foreshadowing of what's to come. So they meet. She tries to help Elphaba. They end up hating each other as roommates. And then something amazing happens, and Galinda reveals that she's actually a really good person who does care about Elphaba, and they become great friends. And of course, Elphaba is treated differently because of her green skin and dark clothes. But with Galinda's help, she becomes well-liked by everyone. So this is all the melodrama that's unfolding at the school, mostly through song. There's a couple really good ones. Fiero's song is really funny. Of course, Popular is a fantastic song, really good, especially when you see it live. I did think that Ariana Grande, although she was very charming and very good, she missed some of the humor. I think, Cynthia Erivo did a little bit better with it, but when you watch the stage production, it is really funny at parts. Fiero, too, his character is very over the top and funny. But as this melodrama unfolds at the school, there's something horrible going on in Oz. And this is the animals, who are professors and, dignitaries just like anyone, and artists. They're losing their ability to speak, and they're being locked away. And for me, as an animal lover, when that plot point starts, I think it's probably halfway through the first half, I was like, oh, wow, this is cool. Like, I'm a big animal lover. I was a vegetarian for 15 years for the sake of animals. And I loved this focus. I was like, oh, this is interesting. It's not just this identity thing and this sort of like this character being unloved and shunned because of her, this color of her skin. It was like there was something else outside of her. And that's very profound because it has big, profound effects later on in the movie. So as Glenda and Elpha become great friends, Elphaba's powers have been noticed by the sorceress, Miss Marble, I think her name is, played by the usually great Michelle Yeoh. And honestly, I think she's miscast. She has a great look and she's a great actress, but I think she was miscast. Like she can't sing, and like her accent is so heavy. And I feel like it's distracting, but, I guess they needed those Asian markets. Anyway, Elphaba has one goal in mind, and that is to get the wizard and have him change her skin color to normal. So she has a great song about her and the wizard. She just can't wait to meet the guy. So he's going to help her, blah, blah, blah. And it's understandable, and it's also selfish of her and single-minded. But when you've grown up like that and you feel like the outcast, she just wants to fit in. And it's a great singular focus for her. But as the mystery of what's happening in Oz, deepens, and she's invited to see the wizard, finally getting what she wants after all this time, this is where I was blown away by the story. The theater production, obviously, in the play, but like the movie was very loyal to this idea as well. And I'm not going to spoil it. You have to see it. But honestly, it just blows you away. And I think this is where it sort of transcends. If you thought this movie was like woke because of their nonsense in interviews saying Oz is gay and also, of course, Oz is gay. It's a musical. You know what I mean? Like, of course, anytime there's a musical, yes, there's lots of gay. And it's never really bothered me at all. I never felt an agenda, if you will. And it's not woke in any way. In fact, if anything, the story is anti-woke because it's less about identity and more about character. And I think that is what Hollywood is lacking in all of these sort of woke movies is they stop focusing on character and instead we're focused on just the surface. And I think that's where this movie just blew me away. They really were loyal to that concept in the play, and it's very smart. The DP is brilliant. What she did with sunlight, like the sun rising on Glenda all the time and always setting on Elphaba throughout the movie, it's breathtaking to look at. The sets are great. They never really overshadowed the story. I felt like it was a perfect blend of big sets, big musical numbers, and it all kind of melded perfectly to me. And of course, the music is the thing. And like any great musical, there are themes, musical and emotional. And in the end, when the big showstopper begins, wow, I was already trying not to sob. In fact, through most of the film, I was trying to hold back tears. It really is emotional, and there's just so many great emotional scenes. Maybe it's because they tap into such a universal concept of feeling like an outcast or unloved or this existential thing where, we feel removed from everyone else. But when that one starts to build and Cynthia Erivo finally lets it fly, boy, I was a mess. It is so fantastic. It is visually exactly what you kind of imagine watching the theater show. She kills that song and those notes. And honestly, I was, of course, Adele Dazeem is the GOAT. Kristen Chenoweth is also fantastic in the original, two roles. And so I'm always nervous about who's going to play it. But Cynthia Erivo, man, she killed it. She's so good. She's very engaging and sympathetic throughout. And when she embraces her power and that song, boy, you feel it. The only downside to this movie is I have to wait for part 2. So go see this movie. It is a great holiday film. I was blubbering through the whole thing, and I can't wait to see it again. All right, that's it for me. I'll see you in the next one.